for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio. Sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Elvivo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I am Allison Kinney. Good afternoon. Let's take a look into the headlines. On Monday, the U.S. House passed a 5-year reauthorization of USDA's grain inspection program. The bipartisan United States Grain Standards Reauthorization Act includes some updates to the existing law, which expires September 30th, that are aimed in part at promoting new technology. The bill would require USDA to prioritize the adoption of improved grain grading technology to enable the efficient, accurate, and consistent grading of grain. And the legislation would exempt equipment and technology costs from the 30% cap on administrative and supervisory expenses that may be incurred under the law. The cap is intended to limit the overall cost of the program. The president and CEO of the National Grain and Feed Association, Mike Seifert, calls the legislation a must-pass bill for the entire grain value chain. Also in the headlines, the ethanol industry hopes that California's General Assembly green light last week for E15 sales in the state now opens new avenues for Congress to okay year-round E15 sales nationally.
I could make a strong case that E15 helps with national security. We have supporters, including Majority Leader Thune and Senator Grassley.
But if the defense bill doesn't work out, Brennan Camp says a year-end spending bill last December would be the next best choice. That could mean attaching the National Consumer and Fuel Realtor Choice Act led by its top Midwest sponsors.
Senator Fisher, she has some sway. She has partnered up with Senator Duckworth, who obviously has major influence on the left side of the aisle and in those committees of jurisdiction.
Brendan Camp says support by President Trump could make a difference as farmers face a price-depressing record corn crop.
I think when this crop starts coming in and the cries from the countryside begin to get louder and louder, I think we hope that he sees this as something that could help in the near term alleviate some of that pain.
The Ohio's Country Journal sweepstakes are back. 4 winners will receive a $250 Visa gift card. Subscriptions are still free, but we must have a new request on file from subscribers every 3 years. Come renew or subscribe at the Farm Science Review, and you'll meet that September 20th deadline to be entered. If you've already subscribed since January 1, 2025, you're automatically already entered. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks, Dale. Now back to the headlines. Many Midwest farmers discovered tassel wrap in their fields this season. The condition occurs when corn tassels become tightly wrapped within the plant's upper leaves and interfere with pollination, leading to potential yield loss. Jeff Cernett, an agronomy solutions lead with Bayer Crop Science and an experienced corn breeder, says preventing the problem must begin in the corn breeding process.
Many of the tassel wrap problems this season were due to genetics by environment interactions. This occurred in both good and stressed environments. The tassels were tied up in the upper leaves of those genetics. Many of the tassels had poor lateral branching. Silks continued to develop due to the growing conditions, and the pollen couldn't properly complete the fertilization process. The problems this season were not an industry issue, but more of a breeding selection issue within certain companies' germplasm pool. If attention's not paid to selecting away from poor tassel characteristics, problems can show up in the resulting hybrids that farmers plant. Environmental issues can make this more pronounced, but identifying genetics that can stand up to a wide variety of conditions is the place to start.
The issue can have a significant impact on yield.
Pollination is a critical time to realize the potential of the growing corn crop. Synchrony between pollen shed and having receptive corn silks on corn plants must occur regardless of stress to realize that full yield potential in corn. If wrapped tassels interfere with the pollination process, the yield loss can be quite significant. If farmers observe problems this season, which appear to be related to certain corn products, they really should consider choosing different products from a different genetics supplier for the next season. Now, corn hybrids, they are able to cross-pollinate if a different hybrid is nearby or in strips in the same field. However, those silks of one hybrid and the pollen shed of the other, they must be aligned in time to reduce some of this issue. Ultimately, seed selection will be an important management tool for protecting against this tassel wrap condition next season.
That was Jeff Cernett from Bayer Crop Science. Now let's take a look at the markets. This market report is brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Learn more online at seedconsultants.com. September corn closed in today down 1 3/4 at 401 1/4. December corn down 2 even at 419 3/4. March corn down 2 even as well at 437 1/2. September soybeans down 2 even at 1011 1/2. November soybeans down 2 1/2 at 1031 1/4. January soybeans down 2 1/4 at 1050 1/2. September wheat down 4 3/4 at 5 3/4. December wheat down 3 1/2 at 520 1/4. July wheat down 3 even at 558 1/2. October live cattle down 562 at 230.17. December live cattle down 640 at 231.17. October lean hogs up 97 cents at 96.12, and October feeder cattle down 9.25 at 349.92. This is the Ohio AgNet.